Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I hope that you people are enjoying this course and you people are giving time to mobile application development. So today we are going to continue with whatever we learned in the previous lecture, that is in lecture number 7. So in lecture number 7 we started developing news reader app. So it's a large complex app and it needs a lot of concepts to understand and a lot of things to work together. So we will go step by step and we will grasp or learn each topic one by one, and then we are going to implement it. But earlier there were like few students who were questioning about some concepts in the Google group or on my or on WhatsApp group. So I want to tell you that I'm going to repeat those concepts and then inshallah we will once again see how we implemented those different concepts and then we will move ahead. So in the previous class we started implementing or discussing APIs. APIs are application programming interface, and then today I'm going to also discuss JSON, which is JavaScript object notation. Then we are going to discuss URL and what are URL connections, what is input stream, what is input stream reader, and how can we get the input stream, and what are JSON objects. So they are all these concepts are important if your mobile application is interacting with some remote server, or you are getting or retrieving data from a remote computer or server or whatever. So understanding of these concepts are very important, and then you will see that gradually when we move ahead it will be easier for you to implement these terms. What is API? So there is a lot of confusion among many students that what actually is an API. So I'm going to give you a very simple example of API. You just take this example and remember it, and then it will be easier for you people to know what exactly API is. The term API is an acronym, and it stands for Application Programming Interface. So think of an API like a menu in a restaurant. The menu provides a list of dishes you can order along with the description of each dish. When you specify what menu item you want, the restaurant's kitchen does the work and provide you with some finished dishes. You don't know exactly how restaurant prepares the food, and you don't really need to. So a lot of time you just have to give specific information and leave the rest to that department or that institute or whatever. So it will prepare, it will take that thing and provide that thing to you. Same case are also for computer APIs. A lot of time you want to access data or use methods or classes or functions in a class, so you just have to know what is the exact syntax of that request, API request that I have to make to the server or to my own computer, so that I get the desired content or data or the desired methods. So keep in mind this simple example. API exactly works like what you have seen in this example. So let us move ahead, and there is another concept that we are going to implement it in our newsreader app, and that is JSON. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notations. They are very commonly used nowadays in order to store data or even exchange data between computers, between client and server and whatever. So JSON is a simple text written with JavaScript object notation. So it's a text. We are going to see some example of JSON. Do not worry about it. We are going to discuss it a lot. So for the moment, just remember that JSON is a simple text that you carry from one computer to another computer. You can also say that it is a standard of exchanging data between computers or between client and server, whatever. So JSON is a lightweight data interchange format. So it is a format that is followed by a lot of programming languages, and all of these programming languages adhere to this format. JSON is very easy to understand and it is self-describing, so anyone can just see it and can know what exactly these object notation is telling you. JSON is also programming language independent, so you do not need to have understanding of one programming language or in any other programming language in order to understand how JSON data works. JSON normally uses JavaScript syntax, but the JSON format is text only. Text can read and use as data format by any programming language. So the text that is used by JSON can be read and can be used as a data format by, you can use any programming language in order to read JSON text. So moving on, these are some more concepts that you have to understand, and they are URL and URL connection. You people already know what URL is. It stands for Universal Resource Locator or Uniform Resource Locator, whatever. Every website, every web page has a URL. In fact, this URL is a subset of URI, which stands for Universal Resource Identifier. So I won't be discussing URI, but for URL, in order to get a web page, you need to have a URL. But when you are doing mobile application programming, so a lot of time you made a URL connection and you do not want to display that data on the front end, but you want to have that data on app background. You have to access it, manipulate it, process it, and then after processing it, you display the desired result from the content that you fetch from the URL connection. So we have an abstract class called URL connection. Is a super class of all the classes that represent a communication link between the application and the URL. So whenever you have a connection or a communication link between the application and a URL, you use URL connection superclass. Instance of this class can be used to both read from and to write to this resource referenced by the URL. So if you have this instance of URL superclass, then you can get information from any website, or you can alter it, change it. It depends upon how the nature of your job is. Okay, and then once you have a URL connection, then in fact the data comes to your app or to your application in the form of input stream. So input stream is nothing but a data stream, a data bundle. The Java input stream class, also known as java.io input stream, represent an order stream of bytes. So they are order stream of byte. In other words, you can read data from a Java input stream. You can read data from that input stream in an order sequence of bytes. So remember, the sequence is important. This is useful when reading data from the file or received over the network. So whenever you receive input stream from the network, then remember to read it in order sequence of bytes. So I'm going to tell you how we can read that data in an order sequence of bytes. So there are the Java input stream class is very powerful. It's very easy to use. You just have to follow a few rules and regulation, and hopefully there will be no problem for you people in order to use it. And we have another class which is called an input stream reader. It is in fact a bridge from byte stream to a character stream. So you have to convert byte stream into character stream. For that, you use another class which is called input stream reader. It reads bytes and it fetches byte, read it, decode it into character, and you store those character in a string or in a character set. The character set is that it uses may be specified by the name or may be given explicitly, or the platform default character set may be accepted. So I mean, this term or these sentences may look very ambiguous. I know these are advanced concepts, but keep in mind that these are just built-in classes that we have to use. We have to convert the bytes, input stream bytes, into character and store those character into character set or in a string. We are going to discuss it, or we already have discussed it in the previous lecture, but I'm going to review it or revise it once again in this lecture. Okay, let us move ahead, and then we can get input stream using get input stream method. of a Java socket class. So the get input stream method of a Java socket class returns an input stream for a given socket. If you close the return input, then it will also close the socket. So I mean, you use this get input stream method in order to get the data from a particular socket or from a particular website, and that definitely uses a socket. I'm going to in the last I'm going to discuss what JSON objects are. JSON objects are normally surrounded by curly braces, as you can see in this example. So it is like key value pair, key is name, key is enclosed in double quotes, so is the value. The value is John, and then we have another key age, and the value is 30, and another key called car, and the value is null. When you have a key, you can access the value. JSON objects are written in key pair form, as I have already told you. Key must be string, and value must be a valid JavaScript data type such as string, number, objects, array, boolean, or null. Keys and value are separated normally by a colon. Each key value pair is separated by a comma. So it is very clear. So this is the format. We are going to look at it again in our example, but for now I thought that these concepts are important because we are using these concepts in our example. Now I'm going to go into the Android Studio because you know that we are already working on an app that is called Newsreader app. Let me revise what we have done so far. So let me double click on this. There were a lot of students who were asking me about they were asking me about something that were very basic, but I encourage them to always ask it. And that was like how a project is assembled or how a project is organized. So Android project have normally, if you see here, we have normally an app folder and a Gradle script folder. Gradle script is configuration management, project management, dependency management, build tool. It's a third-party tool. We have discussed Gradle many times, but you should always know that Gradle is an important part that is used for configuration management, dependency library, dependency management, build tool. It organizes your file, it creates your file, it converts your file, compile them, and then convert them into .abk and .packagekit format, and then install it and run it on your mobile phone or in the emulator. And then we have an app folder. In app folder, we normally have a manifest folder. Manifest folder is like a boss file of your app. So if you click on it, it contains some basic information, just as your how many activities you are using. So far we are using main activity, and what is the name of that app, what is the label, what icon you are using, and whatever activity you are using, it will be used here in you should mention them here in the manifest file. And also, whenever you require some permission, your app needs to go to access internet, then that permission must be given in the manifest file, just as we have done here. And uses permission android name android.permission.internet. So we have mentioned here that we are going to use internet while we are running this app. And then we have two important folders. One is Java and the other one is resource. You ignore Java generated and resource generated. Normally coding is done in this Java folder here in the main activity, and the design of your app is done here in the REST folder. REST stands for resource folder. So the layout is described here in the activity_main file. You see that in the previous lecture we inserted a list view having an ID of list view in this app, and this is the design of that list view. So far this list view is empty, and that is why it is showing us nothing, but later on we will see that we will populate that list view with our news reader article or whatever data you like, and then we are going to populate it. And then there are some other folder like values. It contains color, string, style used in your app. We have a map folder. It normally contains the icon of your app, and then drawable contain the images, the audio, the video, whatever you try to whatever you are using, whatever multimedia content you are using in your app. So let me go to the main activity file, because we have already coded this app. So remember that Java works Java is fully it is 90% object oriented programming language. It means that it is based on object and classes. So whatever you do it inside a class and you create the object of that class. So far you can see there here that we have one class having one class which is extending app compact activity, and that class is main activity. So we have, if I click on it, we have some methods and some classes. So far in this main activity we have a method called onCreate and an inner class called download task. So let us move ahead, and in this onCreate method we have define array list. Now array list will be the source of our data, or we will first going to store our news article IDs and the URL here in the array list, and then we are going to then provide it to the list view. But in order to provide it to the list view, we are going to use array adapter, because array adapter is efficient, it is intelligent, it knows how many articles to be displayed on the screen at a particular moment. It saves your time, it saves your memory. It is important. We have discussed this array adapter, but I mean there are a lot of other adapters that are very important and that you should know. Then we have this list view. We define a list view. We inflate it. Through our XML file, and remember that we have given it a dot list view ID. So we are using the same ID here, and then we created an inner class here, which is called a download task. And remember, download task is subclass of async task, and in fact these processes, whenever I call this class, these processes will be run at the background. So do not worry about, there will be nothing shown on the mobile screen. So I'm going to fetch that data from the background, and then it will start these instructions tell us what is executed at the background. So in this a download task class, we have one method called doInBackground, which is accepting a URL. We are going to provide this URL from a method called, and then we define some variables. The first one is result, a URL, HTTP URL connection. So far it has a null value, but whenever we are going to have a connection, so I'm saying that first initialize or create a URL object and pass it the URI 0 address, which means that we are passing it the whole URL which was passed by calling this method doInBackground. And then we first of all we open a connection using URI connection, and then we get the input stream. These are the standard that you have to follow, and then we have input stream reader, just as I discussed it on the slide, and then we read the data from the input stream. So here you see that I have first opened the connection, and then we get the input stream, and then we read it. After reading that input stream, we read it bytes by bytes. So first byte goes here in the data, and then we check whether or not it is not equal to 1. If it is not equal to 1, if it is true, then we execute the statement. This statement will convert that byte into a character, and then we store that character into a string called a result. And then we read another byte, and the same process goes on and on and on until we read all of our bytes in the URL. So after that, we use a log to display whatever we have fetched from the internet. This is the result string. We are also returning this result string. In case we do not have a connection, then this catch block will tell us the nature of connection and what is the error in that connection. And then after creating that class, we create object of that class called task, and then in the try catch block we call task that execute. Whenever you run the statement, this URL will get here. I mean, we are passing this URL here. So I mean, this is different from a function call or a method call. The URL goes here, and then you fetch that data and convert that byte into characters and store those characters into string, and then we display them. So this is what we were doing in the previous class. I have repeated it because the concept used in this app were complex. So I hope that we will continue from here, and inshallah you will be having no problem in implementing the rest of the code of this app. So till then, Allah Hafiz.